Hello, it's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News to present. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight. Confusion erupts as some UPND councillors were restricted entry at the State House Sunday. Street adults ask President HH to recruit them as ZNS combatants. Zambia celebrates 57 years of self-rule. In international news, ESWATINI gripped by more pro-democracy protests. And in sports news, the SCORCHERS of Malawi have arrived in Lusaka.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello once again, another news in detail. Street kids living under the flyover bridge next to Lusaka's post office have pleaded with government and other relevant authorities to come to their aid. Speaking to Camnet TV on the sidelines of an activity organized by Home of Joy on Sunday, the children living there say they want to relocate to their families. Meanwhile, Home of Joy Foundation founder Aaron Banda has called on government and other well-wishers to put the interests of the vulnerable first. The organization took time to sensitize the youths on the dangers of substance abuse. We have more in the following report.
This is the famous flyover bridge next to Lusaka's main post office, known as a hub for criminal activities at any given time, due to the habitation of street kids who have made family in all sense, as childbearing amongst themselves is a normal thing. Kids grow up and marry themselves. Children are also born there, but what could be the lasting solution to this? Should society condemn this population for good or not? What is clear is that children who sometimes grow into adults leave their homes for various reasons, among them child abuse and failure by parents to take care of their children who seek solace in their colleagues on the streets. Camnet TV spoke to some children who seem abreast with the harsh realities of being in the streets and are now eager to get back home at the earliest opportunity.
But school Numba mkuru wa ntatuari mfana na yena. Numba yena wamami wali safu mapo. Ndea kuskuru. Ene mpia redi daresa mkuvepesha mweni. Fena ene fena mfuide chifukushi na ene fena sendre mwene mpia na ene. Efe washide mkunguma. Ene nangwa sende mpia nene tabari ya mumare vepesha mweni. Fena butuikire na panganda.
Na kumine kushingora. Numba bananji. Afuna basangenshi bapepa sika. Sabuna boy. Nyapache mustiriti. Afuna ere. Namu kara. Funa shide za kiltu. Nadak mena baburu bande. Sabuna se umwana otombo.
Traffic post mnamentwala kashitwala mampost mood. Bambaro mfempepo babni because sticker tetwepo sticker yatona ora manankani amaliva namarangzi yaba kwatini fwa batfwaka mabukuchapa sticker mwamunaga so tevati barandika ma president atwafweko for tweba ichina bakulu abakulu basha kutwa business fwe batukeka percent twapapa.
An earnest appeal has also been made by one of them who has survived the streets in a layman's language can be called a street man.
Awe bambi ama step maza bali bipomutima na ba step faza imitaba mfwayo umwana belefu umwana uri wakwe kandi zone basangula mu street belefula bambi bele tole fikopo file bambi bala basenda bene kubana matere lomba babatangise ko kuli ba president besu na uchaira muna bana upira muno kupira mu na upira muno kupira mu bati ndelo mbechi kankala telefone bakateka batwafurishiye ko pabana abatufyere yako before bakateka abene tabalaisa twali kusedeni yesu mumuli mwana waza kusedeni yesu kuchuoko batwaliyako batifu abanesuba balingira obusoja batatwayingira reason why batwaliyapo kusedde nyesina nombapo bagayi bayisa abasenda baliya bati naye batufuwa nkuba kwa mashirikali nabe enofu baba.
Meanwhile, Home of Joy Foundation, who went to sensitize the youths, says the struggle of reforming children on the street requires concerted efforts both from government and individual level.
Home of Joy Foundation is planned to build an orphanage center to provide shelter for the homeless children with a goal to keep them out of harm's way and away from the streets, of course, by the help of well-wishers. The center, with the help of partners, will offer protection, care and security to provide basic needs such as food, clean water, clothes and shelter for the children. Besides, the center will offer emotional and psychological interventions to improve the mental health and well-being of the vulnerable children by offering education, counseling and life guidance skills that will help the children grow into productive members of the society who will make positive contributions to the community.
However, despite all these challenges, the youths amongst themselves use music to speak their mind, and this reporter was treated to some weekend vibe.
For your love, for your grace, and your man, over the king of Blungo, come over your love for the but take a mutanese once is a man of a street.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Independent Kalikiliki Ward Councillor Shadrack Mwanza has called for communities with high levels of drug and alcohol abuse among the youths to be prioritized in the setting up of skills centers. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Mwanza states that Kalikiliki compound has experienced 3 suspicious deaths in the area in a period of 3 weeks due to an increase on street gangs commonly known as junkies. He states that there is need to give the youths something to do to turn their attention away from alcohol and drugs. We have more in the following report.
According to the World Health Organization, Zambia is one of the countries with a high number of youths involved in drug and alcohol abuse, mainly due to the lack of employment. The country also has high levels of illiteracy, with youth illiteracy standing at 53.3%, according to 2021 data from the Ministry of Education. This means the number of unemployed youths is pushed up, comprising both the literate and illiterate who lack access to gainful employment. Drug and alcohol abuse has been on the rise due to this, with unplanned settlements locally known as shanty compounds leading the group. One of the affected areas is Kalikiliki compound in Lusaka, which has witnessed 3 deaths in the area in 3 weeks, according to independent Kalikiliki Ward Councillor Mr. Shadrack Mwanza. Mr. Mwanza has attributed this to an increase in street gangs commonly known as junkies, stating that criminal activities have increased in the area due to illicit drug and alcohol abuse. He states that the only solution is to build skills centers in these areas.
So this issue of drunkenness, youths, I think 80% of the youths are into drinking. I think I've found it so difficult to deal with, but the only solution I think of is to come up with skills training centers. Okay, and also there's an organization, because in this drunkenness, women, I think the majority, I think it's 50-50, maybe 40% men, 40% women. They're also into drinking, and you find at every corner of the world they're brewed in Kachasu, and Kachasu is very cheap to acquire. So I'm appealing to the government and the relevant authorities to actually come in and help me to empower these people.
The independent Kalikiliki Ward Councillor has called for this to be done urgently, saying the abuse of drugs and alcohol is on the rise.
Because these people continue drinking and drinking and drinking is 6 to 6, from maybe 6 hours, 5 hours, up to 24 hours. These people, they drink, they are not productive. And this is why there's high criminal activities taking place, because people are not sober, people are drunk every time. So they think evil, they have nothing to do. That's the reason why they are going out there to attack people and to rob people.
He says there is need for more sensitization on the dangers of drugs and alcohol, adding that skills centers should be established in all shanty compounds. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Young people who flocked to the Freedom Statue in Lusaka have used the occasion to remind President Hakainde Hichilema that they are still waiting for the fulfillment of the campaign pledges. The young people are happy that they are able to enjoy some of the freedoms, such as that of speech and association, but that the free education policy must be fulfilled. They also asked for empowerment opportunities so that they can become self-reliant and meaningfully contribute to national development.
The first time that I've come here, I've come to celebrate, but it has been really nice, like to see the president, to wave at everyone. It's a great opportunity that has come to each and everyone. So he has really enforced me to become somebody in life.
It is the first independence under the United Party for National Development, UPND, and President Hakainde Hichilema, who previously shunned such events, took the center stage. Zambians turned up in numbers to witness the head of state as he graced the commemoration at the Freedom Statue in Lusaka. Young people had a message to the head of state, President Hakainde Hichilema, who graced the occasion at the Freedom Statue.
Independence to me means a lot because I've got my freedom, I use my light, I've got every light. With the independence that I have, the independence that Zambia have means a lot to me and to my fellow youth around here. I can only want one thing, that is to be empowered by the new Dawn government and the Mr. President himself. You have to think about the youth. You have to empower us and take us to school. Yeah, as he promised, as he said in his manifesto that there will be free education. Let him fulfill his promise, his manifesto as us giving us free education. Let there be free education. Let there be food. That is what I can say about the new Dawn government.
I'm an upcoming artist, whereby I would also like the president to empower us, the new musicians, the upcoming artists, and also the feeling that I'm feeling right now is great because we've been celebrating here together with the president. Nobody's hurt, everyone peaceful. That's what the independence should be. A free country, free speech. Right now I'm on TV, right? That is freedom, because no one is able to kill me or hate me. That's the freedom that we need.
The young people demand free education and empowerment opportunities in order for them to better their lives.
Because not all children come from rich families. Like to me, I don't come from a rich family. So I would ask from the president that he should really empower us. Like he said, that he's going to empower our youths. So this goes to him, that he should remember his promises that he made. Since we went to go and put a vote for him, he should also fulfill his promises as well to us youths and becoming employees to other companies.
Well, the message from young people is clear. One only hopes the head of state will take into consideration their plea. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, President Hakainde Hichilema led scores of Zambians in commemorating Zambia's 57th independence anniversary Sunday by laying wreaths at the Freedom Statue. In delivering the homily, Brigadier General Apostle Vincent Mwenya, Chaplain General at the Ministry of Defense, urged Zambians to shun idleness and dependency on handouts and instead seek economic emancipation through hard work. Meanwhile, in an interview, Lusaka City Mayor Chilando Chitangala has urged Zambians to uphold democracy. An investiture ceremony was later held where various citizens have been honored for their contribution to Zambia's well-being, among them former Bank of Zambia Governor Dr. Jacob Mwanza and disability human rights defender Mr. Elijah Ngwale. Here is a report.
Hundreds of Zambians left their homes Sunday, 24th October 2021, to witness the laying of wreaths at the Freedom Statue and to get a glimpse of the head of state who led the way in laying wreaths in honor of Zambia's fallen heroes during Zambia's 57th Day Independence celebrations. Delivering the homily to both local and international representatives as well as members of the general public, Brigadier General Apostle Vincent Mwenya, Chaplain General at the Ministry of Defense, has emphasized on unity if the country is to succeed. He further asked that Zambia should first seek individual economic emancipation before seeking national economic emancipation through getting rid of an attitude of idleness.
But rising needs effort, action by all Zambians. We need to reject idleness, dependence on handouts, and laziness. It will not produce anything good. We have to work for economic emancipation for it to come. Secondly, shining as an aspect of reflection. We are not to process in the process of radiance. It is God himself, but us cooperating and participating in implementation of policies as espoused in the current government's manifesto. We stand on the post of mandate as a people. Therefore, hard work is not an option for Zambia to achieve its desired goals.
Meanwhile, Lusaka City Mayor Chilando Chitangala has also given a message to the Zambian people.
Milestone, I guess now we're not even a young democracy. We are now like a middle, or we are aging. So I would urge the Zambian people that we must embrace the democracy that we've got now. We saw from the last election what happened, and everybody has accepted and we've moved on. So I would just like to remind the Zambian people that it's important that we embrace democracy.
New Labour Party President Fresha Siwale has also added his voice.
Time of self-introspection and begin to embrace this new administration. Yes, indeed, it's a new dawn. It's a new dawn for Zambia because we are now free at last.
The president has also honored some Zambians who have been instrumental in the country, among them former Bank of Zambia Governor Dr. Jacob Mwanza and disability rights defender Mr. Elijah Ngwale.
Seek ye human rights first and everything would follow. Fight for your human rights, defend your human rights, ensure that the government fulfills your human rights, and that this government must mainstream persons with disability issues into existing programs.
The celebrations are being commemorated under the theme Celebrating a New Dawn, anchored on good governance, national unity and development. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Confusion erupted at State House Sunday after some United Party for National Development UPND councillors were blocked from entering State House to join in the Independence Day celebrations. In an interview with Camnet News, the councillors lamented about being denied access to join the celebrations and be accorded a chance to meet the head of state after suffering for the party while in opposition. This becomes the second time UPND members have issued concerns of being denied entry into State House for official purposes, as similar incidences occurred nearly 2 weeks ago. We have more in the following report.
Who are insulting the president are inside there. People who are insulting the president are there. We can show you the pangas we suffered to make. No.
While it was a joyful day for many, Zambia's Independence Day celebrations were characterized with confusion for others, as some officials from the United Party for National Development UPND were denied entry into State House. After witnessing the laying of wreaths at the Freedom Statue, officials and members of the public then proceeded to State House to witness the investiture ceremony where various people were being honored for their service to the country. However, confusion ensued when State House officials clearing people blocked some UPND councillors from going in. The councillors bemoaned poor treatment, alleging that they were being ignored after supporting and suffering for the party while in the opposition. This becomes the second time such an incident has occurred, as named UPND members were allegedly blocked in a similar manner 2 weeks ago.
Let's go. People who are insulting the president are inside there. People who are insulting the president are there. We can show you the pangas we suffered to make. No. These guys do not have respect. How do they block councillors not to enter here? No, we are not going in. we're not going in. If this is going to be enough for them to suspend the councillors, let them do so. They will cause whatever they want to cause there. They have no space for councillors.
Calm was later restored as the confusion attracted the attention of those inside State House and the councillors were granted entry. The Independence Day celebrations were attended by various officials, both local and representatives of international bodies. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, has underscored the need to consolidate efforts towards addressing the many bottlenecks to economic emancipation. TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe calls upon the UPND government to use this year's commemoration of independence to turn the tide in the fight against corruption and free Zambia from the shackles of this scourge. Mr. Nyambe says Zambia has led by example in the demonstration of how peaceful transition of power can occur, and the time has come to lead in fighting corruption through implementing innovative measures to combat the scourge. He urges the UPND administration to take up this challenge in order to bring Zambia back on the right trajectory.
Challenge the new UPND administration to really take up this issue and ensure that they free Zambia from the shackles of corruption. Over the last 57 years, it is very clear that we have demonstrated as a country our ability to lead in terms of showing what is possible in relation to peaceful transition of power. And I think that the time has come for us to also take the lead in terms of showing what is possible in terms of the fight against corruption. So that is a challenge that we would like to issue to the new UPND administration, that they should free this country from the shackles of corruption and ensure that we take the lead as a country to Africa and indeed to the rest of the world in terms of what is possible when it comes to addressing the corruption problem. So we wish to join the rest of the country again in commemorating and celebrating 57 years of independence, but we do hope that as a country we will continue, and even as citizens will continue to take interest in how our affairs are being managed.
You're watching Camnet TV and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Would you like to win some cool cash? Say no more. Stand a chance to win your share of 1 million kwacha. Simply make a transaction from your Zamtel mobile money account and you could be one of weekly winners of up to 10,000 kwacha. Be empowered with Zamtel mobile money. Dial *344# to activate your account. This promotion runs from 28th July to 31st October 2021. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
To save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets. Housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Zambia's COVID-19 vaccination drive is gaining momentum as people become less skeptical about vaccines. Meanwhile, the National Expanded Program Immunization Manager, Dr. Francis Diani-Mwansa, says vaccination is a way to go if the country is to go back to the pro-COVID-19 era, just like other countries have done. Meanwhile, media practitioners who were among the skeptics have now taken the lead in getting vaccinated.
Zambia relaunched the COVID-19 vaccination program to reassure public confidence after the process was marred with misinformation and political influence. Since then, people have developed interest to get immunized against the COVID-19 with 3 types of vaccines being administered, including the AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson and Sinopharm. So far, Zambia has passed the 500,000 mark of people being vaccinated, and soon it will be celebrating the 1 million mark. People are being reminded to take a keen interest to get vaccinated with the coming of the 4th wave.
It's very important for people to get vaccinated. Our godfathers fought for us to get vaccinated. That's the reason why we're still healthy. So we should embrace the COVID-19 vaccine so that we should prevent ourselves from getting a COVID. That's why it's very important for MOH, Ministry of Health, and implementing partners to make sure that they sensitize the community about the importance of getting vaccines, because right now there's not much information about vaccines in the community.
When the vaccination program started in Zambia, there were a lot of myths and social media disinformation. Journalists were among skeptics, but this is no longer the case. With capacity building interventions through initiatives such as the Media Science Cafe Mesika and the DSAT Links project, the media in Zambia is taking a lead in reporting right information to help people make informed decisions. They are also taking a lead as frontline workers by getting vaccinated.
Earlier on, I was very skeptical of getting vaccinated, but actually after seeing that a lot of people have been vaccinated and there's no any side effect, then I also decided to get vaccinated. But earlier, yes, I was very much skeptical because, you know, of those issues in the past regime where we had no, these vaccines that were expired and so on. So we were waiting for the authorities to ensure that they clear all those myths that were there. So really, I've been vaccinated, and today I was getting the 2nd jab for AstraZeneca. Yes, as a journalist, yes, I'm well informed of all the vaccinations, the Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, Sinopharm, and I'm encouraging the public just to go and get vaccinated.
I also spoke to Minister of Health National Expanded Program on Immunization, Dr. Francis Diani-Mwansa.
The thinking that the 4th wave could be with us is real. And for this reason, people have to add to the armory of the prevention measures that we have, the measures such as the 5 golden rules, the vaccination, because vaccinations are unique in the sense that they are the only interventions we have at the moment which you get once and you move on. For the masking, hand hygiene, physical distancing, you have to keep doing those religiously every day. Otherwise, the day you stop, you become at risk, just as at risk as a person who has never done those before. So it is extremely important. And I think we've seen even in the Western world that with the vaccination, then people get almost as close to the life that they had before as possible.
Historically, vaccines have been known to protect human beings from diseases, and it is still the same with the COVID-19. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Medical for Quality Healthcare in Zambia, MQHZ, is elated with a malaria vaccine recently approved by the World Health Organization. Organization Director General Dr. Quincy Mwabo says the approval of Mosquirix vaccine has come in as a major breakthrough, especially to Zambia being the most affected endemic country every year. He regrets that in clinics and hospitals there are malaria positivity rates in spite of all efforts put in to stop malaria, such as malaria campaigns, indoor spraying and mosquito net distribution. In 2019, there were an estimated 229 million cases of malaria worldwide. The estimated number of malaria deaths stood at 409,000 in 2019. And Dr. Mwabu is saddened that cases are being mostly fatal in children. Dr. Mwabu believes the vaccine will help mitigate malaria-related deaths, further calling for intensified efforts through enforcing environmental hygiene, sanitation, and provision of pipe-borne water. He has called on government to consider procuring the Mosquirix vaccine after the full trial.
The approval of malaria vaccine is a major breakthrough, especially a country like Zambia. Zambia is a most affected endemic country every year. And the coming of malaria vaccine, it will reduce some of the morbidity and mortality that comes from malaria in our country. In Zambia, children under the age 5 are the most vulnerable group that are affected by malaria. So we therefore urge the government to consider looking into procurement of the vaccines once the full trials it is done, because these vaccines of malaria, it will reduce the number of deaths that come from malaria, especially in young children and pregnant mothers. So it's a great achievement, and we are very happy as MKZ.
A small-scale farmer, Leah Mitaba, has called for a substantial amount to be allocated to the agricultural sector in the 2022 national budget in a bid to promote diversification. In an interview with Camnet News, Ms. Mitaba states that while the country has been talking about the need to diversify, this has been difficult to actualize due to financial limitations which have resulted in the focus being on maize. The small-scale farmer states that an increased budget allocation will also help in the procurement of irrigation machines, which will enable different types of crops to be grown all year round.
So I think diversification is very important, and the government, the New Dawn government, actually should encourage farmers to go that way and should actually implement policies that are going to support that diversification. But you agree with me that the diversification needs also to come with a lot of support. We know that the case of Zambia is that we have one rain season, but we have soils that are good enough to be farmed on throughout the year. So the issue of irrigation support is very important for diversification. So we are hoping that in the budget that is going to be announced, for instance, this October, we shall see effort by the government to move away only from FISIP and FRA as the only support system to agriculture, but also to support irrigation development for the small-scale farmer. There's a World Bank fund that had been given to Zambia some years back, which was supposed to support irrigation development for farmers. We did not adequately utilize that support. So how can the new government look at such projects and see how they can be resuscitated, so that we see farmers farming throughout the year and not only restricted to the natural rain season.
You're watching Camnet News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
At Savenda Express Printing, we have the capacity to deliver quality in all kinds of printing services timely. Our lines of production include screen printing, embroidery, lithography, and large format printing. We take pride in delivering quality work at very competitive rates with our in-house, highly experienced and qualified designers. With the ability to print full color and embossing prints, our state-of-the-art screen printing machines are able to print 1,000 pieces per hour. Our embroidery machines are able to print any logo with 1 or up to 12 colors all at once and has an output capacity of 100 pieces per hour. Savenda Express Printing also does large format printing for billboards, banners, vinyl, car stickers, posters, tire covers, cups, pens, bags, flasks, packaging boxes, and well, just anything that can need printing. For inquiries, give us a call on 0960 344 471.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. And in international news, the Southern African Kingdom of Eswatini has been gripped by pro-democracy demonstrations in recent months. But the government of the former Swaziland, the continent's last absolute monarchy, says there can be no dialogue until the unrest stops. In other news, severe fuel shortages have sparked more protests in Haiti's capital. The cost of fuel has soared and some petrol stations have closed. Gangs have started kidnapping and killing truck drivers, which is only adding to the problem. Here's a roundup of international news.
Saturday would have been the 22nd birthday of Mofana Sebeli Mavuza's son. Sandile died 3 days ago after being caught in violent pro-democracy protests when he went to the mobile phone store. Mabuza says a witness told him his firstborn was shot in the back by a police officer and left to die.
And to make things worse, they don't care about our children and about our future. Because my son, tomorrow he was going to be something big, not even to me, maybe even to this country.
The government says since pro-democracy protests began in June, 35 people have died. Amnesty International says that number is much higher, more than 80. Many people are now saying something that was once inconceivable in Africa's last absolute monarchy, that after 35 years of rule, King Mswati III has enriched himself while ignoring the struggles of the people. And it's time for his reign to end and a new era of democracy to begin. Wandile Lulu is the Secretary General of one of the largest political parties in Eswatini. A 1973 decree bans parties from sponsoring candidates to run for parliament. He says all the corruption in the country can be traced back to the king.
He does not give a damn to human life. That's how divorced and corrupt he has become. We have been taking the beating, hoping that one day the ears of the king will open and he will listen. But clearly, like all despots and dictators, he's not listening.
King Mswati says he hopes to launch a national dialogue in the coming months and called for peace in this country of just over 1 million people. Former Mbabane Deputy Mayor Jabulani Numalo says Eswatini needs to address corruption, and that lies with Parliament.
We are at a very precarious, painful, agonizing phase. But what is good is that we all agree that we don't deserve this. We can do better than this. Now, the beginning, in my humble submission, is that let everybody withdraw the anger and let's come together, go forward.
At the moment, Mabuza isn't sure how he and his family will be able to do that. They have yet to bury Sandile. People have described Eswatini as one big family, but there is no sign yet that family is ready to heal. Natasha.
Fires burning in the streets of the Haitian capital. While protests over worsening insecurity have swept the city in recent days, demonstrations over fuel shortages are also becoming a daily occurrence. There are fears the city would come to a standstill if supplies aren't resumed soon.
The government is not doing its job. They are the ones that should give us security. They should do everything to make sure pumps have petrol so we can do what we have to do.
Despite some gas stations already running dry, queues of motorists keep growing, as do tensions at the pump.
The problem is the people in government. The rich are fighting the poor.
Some motorists tell us fuel is becoming so hard to come by, it can take days to get their hands on only a few gallons.
Across the Haitian capital, many petrol stations have closed their doors altogether, creating a black market for fuel. In recent days, the price of gasoline has gone from $10 to $15 per gallon, and it's a cost that's only getting higher as the fuel shortage worsens.
Delivering fuel to residents has become more difficult as violence linked to criminal gangs spreads to more parts of the city. Gang members have made a lucrative business out of extorting and kidnapping petrol delivery drivers. Fuel transporters are threatening a strike to protest against the violence directed towards delivery personnel.
A reason why there's no petrol is that some of the drivers have been kidnapped previously with their trucks. The owners have paid for the truck to be released, but left the driver behind and they were killed. That's why drivers are now scared to go to the cargo terminal because they may get kidnapped.
Though the recent abduction of 17 missionaries by a Haitian gang has captured global headlines, violence and kidnappings are a challenge that most residents here face on a daily basis. And between increasing insecurity, fast rising fuel prices, and an economic crisis exacerbated by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, security experts say the situation is a ticking time bomb for social unrest. Manuel Rapalo, Al Jazeera, Port-au-Prince.
It's now time for sports news. In sports news, the Scorchers of Malawi have arrived in Lusaka ahead of their 2022 Africa Women Cup of Nations qualifier return match against Zambia. The two teams played out to a 1-0 draw in Lilongwe last week. Tuesday's match will be played at Nkoloma Stadium starting at 15 hours. That sporting story brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, we'll take a look at the headlines once again. Confusion erupts as some UPND councillors were restricted entry at State House Sunday. Street adults ask President HH to recruit them as ZNS combatants. And Zambia celebrates 57 years of self-rule. In international news, Eswatini gripped by more pro-democracy protests. And in sports news, the Scorchers of Malawi have arrived in Lusaka. We now look at the Camnet World Verse for the day, coming from Proverbs 9, verse 11 to 12, and it reads, "For through wisdom your days will be many, and years will be added to your life. If you are wise, your wisdom will reward you. If you are a mocker, you alone will suffer." My name is Jeffrey Zembo, and thanks for watching Camnet TV News. Bye-bye.